Hey everyone, so we're going to be talking about the Clash of Wills fight at level 99, and I'm specifically going to be discussing Sinzar's strategy. So I'm going to post the link to that video down below. That was his plan, his strategy. I'm not taking any credit for it, but as a relatively new player to competitive modes, it's something that I had to wrap my head around, and I thought that if I did a guide using it, that I could explain some of the information in it to other new players so that you can kind of get your morale up and beat this fight. So the big thing that he talks about in his guide is that you need these massive resists built into your team. And when I saw that, I thought my first instinct was, I'm not going to be able to do this. This is way too hard. Why would they make you do this? And then I realized after trying it, it wasn't that hard at all. I don't think I crafted maybe 2 TMRs, and that was it. I already had a bunch of the stuff. So I'm going to go through that, and then I'll show an example fight at the end so you can see it all in action and how it works. Now, one other disclaimer, I have the dream team in front of me. I have every Clash of Wills unit. We have Skye, we have Elena, we have Luis, and we have Ling. And then I'm using Jessie as my passive provoker and Bart's to do some wind stuff. So I really do have an easy team to do this, but that doesn't stop me from sharing information about the mechanics, how it works, and demonstrating the fight. So we're going to get into all of that now. All right, so if you've watched Sinzar's video, then you're going to know that the very first turn is just to build up morale, because the boss is going to dispel anything that you do to it and anything that you do to yourself, any buffs or anything at all. So then in between the first and the second turn, you're going to get hit with all of this magic, and the magic can't be evaded by everybody. You have to just take it. However, you can't use things like elemental resist buffs, you can't use things like spirit buffs, whatever you have, HP barriers, it's all going to get dispelled. So you just have to be able to take that damage. Now you can take it with things like a guts buff, and that would actually help you survive. You could also go for a 1-turn kill, and people have been doing 1-turn kills with Sephiroth and with Tifa, and that's definitely a method. But if you want to survive that first turn, then you have to build up your resistances and then kind of go from there. So when we take a look at all my units here and we go into our stats, we can see that Bart's has 175% wind and 95% dark. So the biggest thing is that the resistances have to total 200%. So I can be under 100% dark as long as I am over 100% wind. And if I go through all of my units, Skye, she does not have to be over 100% here because she absorbs wind damage. And then with Ling, I'm at 120, 120. With my Luis, I'm at 120, 100. Jessie actually needs fire and earth resist as well. So the whole party is going to get hit with wind magic attacks and dark magic attacks, and then your person that is provoking will get hit by an earth attack and a fire attack. So the person that's provoking is going to need to have both the dark and the wind and also the earth and the fire. So I'm using Jessie because she is so easy to build up to be passive, a passive provoke. In the past, I haven't had a passive provoke unit because it's hard to get gear and materia for it. A lot of it's been given out in events, and I just didn't know which other units can do it passively. But with her, if you take a look, she gets some pretty good stuff. So for example, she actually gets a bunch of elemental resistances right here, and then gets some evasion. But then also, if we take a look at down here, her TMR will give her a 20% chance of being targeted. And besides that, so when we go to equip here, we can take a look. Here's her TMR, and then also this materia that's also from her. This is her, or maybe this is her TMR. That was her S TMR that was equipped. This also gives her some provoke. So she gets up to 100%. And then she also gets a bunch of resistances. So her bandana also gives her 20% resistances across the board. And then I just equip a bunch of materia and stuff that give her more resistances. And she becomes not only easy to get the provoke on, she becomes very easy to build elemental resist on. It's almost like she was made for this fight. Okay, so at this point you're wondering, how am I going to build up all of these elemental resists? And the first thing I'm going to say is that you just have to use the sort function, because it turns out you're going to have lots of stuff if you've been playing for any amount of time. If you're brand new, it is going to be tough for you to do, but for any piece of gear, if you click to equip, you can filter specifically by wind and dark resist, and when you do that, you can just long press on things and find out, okay, this gives 20% wind resist. Kryla's Veil gives 20% to everything. We can go take a look at something like this hero's shield gives 20% to everything. So everything here is gonna give me resists, and it's all from events that I've just played, like just the story events, things that are really easy. This was a story event that you got for free, 30% dark resist. Same thing with abilities. We can look here and we can see he actually doesn't need that many materials, but if we look at someone, for example, Louise, she has some wind resist here. She has some dark resist there. And there's some other stuff. If you played around Christmas, we had this from Kryla, her TMR, 25 to all resists, obviously really strong. We can also look at vision cards. So lots of the vision cards that come out have some resists, and maybe it's not this one. There's some vision cards that do have some resists as well that you can use. So we have materia, we have vision cards, we have equipment, and then we have espers. So when you take a look at an Esper, for example, let's say that we want to build some wind resist. I think that's opposite of ice. So I long clicked on Shiva. I'm going to go to resist. Oh no, sorry. She gives 70% ice resist. But you can see, right, that the Esper that you equip makes a huge difference to your resists. So for example, if we look at another, let's see, who do I have equipped? For example, we have Anima here, and we'll take a look at what his resists, her resists are. And we can see 50% dark resist and no negatives to the ones that we're trying to build. So that's a huge source of dark resist right there for your team. So all of your Espers, you don't have to level them. As far as I know, these are all another source of resists for you. So you can eventually get to this point where you can just build these resists. You only have to build these resists for the first turn, and for a Neovision unit, they only have to be in the form that you're actually going to be taking the damage in. So for example, with Skye, her Brave Shift form, if I go into that, has all of her gear for dealing damage. She doesn't have any resist gear here. Her resists don't look nearly as good. Now, if I go over to Louise, she's built up for all of her resists, but if I go to her Brave Shift form, she's no longer built for resist. She's actually built, I gotta make sure I replace that. She's built for magic damage. And then again, same thing with Elena. So in this form that she's gonna be in buffing, she's gonna have her resists. But in her regular form, she's built to be a hybrid attacker, and that's fine. So on the turn that I want to kill, I can actually have all of my good equipment that I want to have on a unit. All right, so the next thing that you need to start using as a new player, if you want to fix this problem, you want to get elemental stuff or anything at all, if you want to get provoke stuff, if you want to get evasion gear, and you want to figure it out without having to go ask on the daily help thread or joining the Mysidia Gaming Discord and asking in our FFBE channel, which you're welcome to do. Come ask us for help, and I'm happy to help you, and we've got other players there that are going to help you too. You can also come to ffbeequip.com. And from here, there's things like the unit search and builder and all this stuff. But what we can look at is the encyclopedia. And in here, there's lots of great stuff. So I'm going to sort by resists, and then I'm going to pick dark, or maybe I'm going to pick dark and wind. And all of a sudden on the right here, it's going to show me all of this stuff. And sure, some of the STMRs, they're going to be hard to get. You might not have a chance to get them, but it tells you right off the bat what it is. And you can sort those out if you want to. But you could go take a look and you can see, okay, Veritas of the Dark. I might actually have a copy of that that I can STMR, so I can go do that right now. Or you can keep scrolling down and you can see, well, maybe there's or here, Lumina's Clothes, 50% dark resist. She was an event unit given to us for free that we could STMR for free. We could also look at something like the Demon Mail, 50% dark resist. That's from a trial. You can go get that whenever you want from a trial, and it's not that hard to beat. So this is where you can find a lot of really good stuff. So keep going. We can look at something. I'm trying to find a TMR. Okay, here we go. Here is Ravis's TMR. He is a 4-star unit. There's chances are that you have a couple of these, or maybe you have one because you've been bulk fusing, and you can go finish it off with a couple of S or TMR Moogles, and boom, you've got 50% dark resist just like that. So by combining your Espers, your VCs, your Materias, your equipment, all that kind of stuff, using FFBE equip, you can quickly figure out where all of your elemental resist is. And again, any other thing you're trying to build, Provoke, if you're trying to build Evade, if you're trying to build Attack, Magic, LB damage, you name it, you can find it here, and then you can start planning out what you want to do. And if you're wondering, you want more information, okay, we'll go back up to the Demon Mail. We're thinking, okay, this is from a trial. Where am I going to get this? You click this little link right here, little blue link. Boom. We're on the wiki now. And it shows us, okay, this is going to be from Scorn of the Marching Beasts. And I can go look at the testimonials on how to beat that there. You can go back over to Sinzar's channel and you can figure out how to beat it from him. But this is going to tell you exactly everything you need to know. And this is also a really great place to search stuff up. All right, we're going to get into the fight next, but first I'm just going to quickly mention Skye, since she is a new unit. We're going to finish off this boss by jumping on it, but you can use her LB as well. Either one is going to work just fine. She deals a ton of damage to it. So the way that I have her built in Brave Shift, it's a little bit wasteful, but you'll see what I mean. She has the new Wandering Knight's Lance. That's from the Item World event, and this comes with some jump attack. But it is a wind elemental weapon. That's something that you have to keep in mind. But it does get some good passives and some good variants. And then otherwise, even though she's EX1, I got 2 copies and I did STMR copy, or get one of them as the STMR. As soon as I get the login shards, I can EX2 her and I'll get doubles of her STMR, and that will give me some more jump damage, as well as another item with some killers on it and some nice attack on it. So I'm very excited to get a second copy of that. Her own TMR is also going to give her some jump damage, and it also gives her that wind conversion that is super helpful. And then otherwise, I have some LB damage here. This is because I've honestly been trying out both builds to see how she is, and I'm kind of lazy switching stuff. So if I'm going for a jump build, I don't need this LB damage. I could put, same thing with Storm Kickers, I could put a higher attack, armor, and accessory on. That's not a huge deal. In terms of abilities, again, I'm being a little bit wasteful. I've got way more attack, and she already caps this out, the equipment attack, so whatever. But when we take a look, I'm over the jump damage boost. Once I get the second STMR, I can take off one of my jumping Materias and I'll still be capped, and then I can replace that with more killers. But otherwise, I have the Indestructible Light. I have some killers here for Dragon Killer. So when we take a look at that, I already have 300% Dragon Killer and 250% Reaper. That obviously helps out quite a bit. The jump damage is capped. If I wanted to, I could take off a jump Materia and switch it to an LB boost Materia, and I could cap the LB boost. Okay, so here's the first turn, and we're going to be doing lots of buffing, and the reason is because we want to fill up the morale gauge. Now, the morale gauge, it's really important for damage later on. It also helps out with these abilities. If we get longer into the fight, we can click up here and we can use abilities. But just so you know, whatever you do this first turn, it's not going to matter in that it gets dispelled. So with Luis, we're just going to use all of her team buffs because that's going to build up lots of morale. With Jessie, we don't have any elements imbued, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to break, we're going to do some LB fill stuff with her. With Elena, we're going to be activating her triple cast, and we're going to boost up our morale. And then with White Dragon Ling, we're going to fill up our morale, and we're going to use Purifying Dance. And Purifying Dance cures status ailments and also protects against them. Doesn't matter because we're going to get dispelled, but it's just going to be a buff. We're going to use Sharp Spear Focus. We can't attack with Skye. She has an elemental weapon, so we're just going to use this. And if we attack later on, if we attack with elemental attacks that the boss is weak to, it can cause him to do another Dispel, and that can really mess us up. And then we're just going to entrust on Ling with Warrior of Light Barts. So now watch carefully. You're going to see wind attacks and dark attacks hitting everybody. And then if you look at Jessie specifically, you're going to see fire and earth attacks hitting her specifically. And because we had our resistances built, we are good to go. So now we can reload our skills. Ling is going to use that Purifying Dance, and that will heal up Jessie. She can now act, so we can reload again. With Elena, we have a triple cast now. We can go Morale twice, and Crystal Refragmentation. That's going to give everybody 100% resist to all elements. And now that we're playing smart, we're not going to get dispelled again. We don't have to worry about those resists going away. Jessie's going to break again, and also do the LB filling stuff. And if we imbue Jessie at any point, we have to remember to stop breaking. Luis is going to apply all of her buffs all over again, and Skye's going to Brave Shift. And we can Brave Shift now because the elemental resists are all there. So we're going to use a Wind Imperil and a Wind Amp. We're going to use a Attack Boost and a Killer Boost. And then we're going to use a Break and a Spear Imperil. Now these are also going to boost the potencies of Skye's jump as well. And then with Bart's, we just want to get his LB filled up again, so we can just go ahead and do that. Now we're going to take the same type of damage again, but we have all of our resistances figured out. Okay, now here's something that you should get in the habit of doing for Clash of Wills, and that is checking if everything is still okay. So I'm going to long click on the Undead Dragon Osta, and we can see, okay, Wind Imperil still here, Spear Imperil still here, the Break is still here. And then we can take a look at Skye, for example. Long press on Skye, and we can see we have all of our buffs here. We have all of our barriers, all of our stuff. Attack boosts, wind boosts, our jump potency boosts. Everything is still there. We have not been dispelled. If you don't check this kind of stuff, it's really hard to tell where you went wrong in a fight. So at this point we're on turn 3, but we actually have to wait until turn 5 to go for the kill. If you're going, because you could, like right now I have my LBs charged up, I could LB, I could chain, I can do all my stuff right now, but if you're noticing that you're not able to beat the boss, it's because these buffs here can't be dispelled, and it is hard to get through them. I have trouble getting through them, so you have to wait till turn 5, unless you have like godly damage, and that means we just have to kind of sit still. Now, what we're going to do, since nothing's been dispelled, we don't have to use Purifying Dance anymore. We are going to use Transcendent Performance. This is going to give us a physical damage, magical damage, mitigation, activate HP barrier, and that's all really solid. That's really important because the boss is putting a damage over time skill on us that you might see in Sinzar's video, and it's going to hit everybody for magic damage, and if they don't have high spirit or mitigation, they're going to die. So if your units die on turn 4 and 5, then you need to be putting on more barriers, more spirit, more HP, whatever you can on your units. So we'll do that, and we'll do the morale as well. With Elena, we'll just do some buffs because I think we only have one morale cast left. With Luis, same thing. We can just do some buffs. With Jessie, we're still not. We still don't have to worry about any sort of elemental imbue, so we can go ahead and we can still break. And then with Bart's, so at this point we can think about Brave Shifting. We could do an imbue. We could do an amp. I'm going to do that next turn, and what I'm just going to do this turn is just to use some buffs. So we'll give everybody some HP and some wind resist, and maybe we'll do a boost here and a wind imperil, and then with Skye we can just use the overcast skies again or something like that. Okay. So we've got pretty good morale here. We're going to take damage next turn. So this turn, sorry, this is not the turn that we take the damage over time. So this is the turn for me where I'm going to go ahead and shift over, and I'm going to imbue. And this is going to give everybody a nice stat buff, whatever. And now I'm going to jump with Skye. So Skye's in the air. I don't want to shift. Oh, actually, I did just shift with Bart's. But I don't want. I'm just going to leave everybody as is because next turn I can always shift and do damage. So I can't. I don't want to attack with Jessie anymore because with Jessie, she's now imbued with wind. If I did that, I could get dispelled and my whole run could just blow up. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm just looking at everybody's LB. I'm just going to do more LB fill, and she can use like that one 3 times if she wants. And then I'll do something like, you know, I'll do bravery or whatever. With Louise, I can just use the exact same buffs again. With Ling, I can do more morale, and I can do something like, okay, I'm going to raise everybody's spirit. And then the same thing again, I can just fill up the morale, and then hopefully everybody survives this damage here. So we're going to see everyone's going to take damage. Okay, nobody died. All the same stuff's happening, the wind, the dark, the fire, the earth. Okay, so now let's double check. Did we mess up? Boss still has all the imperils. Our units should still have all their buffs. Now we can go for the kill. So, with Ling, we're going to give everybody a Reaper Killer. And we're going to use Rally and Dance for a big boost. Avalanche Jessie, she has her LB, by the way, so I just want to show off a little bit of her kit. She's so good. Her LB has a big defense spirit break and a huge imperil for everything. She also has Entrust if you need her to fill LB gauges. She has a bunch of breaks, including a break with a 100% imperil for all elements. She has a way to give everybody some dodging, so they can do some evade some physical attacks 2 times. So she's really, really, really strong. But what we're going to do here is we're just going to do the LB fill again. We're not going to attack or anything. I'm just getting her out of the way because I'm nervous. But with these units here, this is where we're going to go ahead. We're going to set up our bolting strike chaining. And with Elena, she actually has a Blade of Salvation, which is morale based. Bart's is just going to amp everybody. So that's good for the, like, so Skye already has an amp, so she's fine. But now we can go ahead and we can do our chain. And we did it. So her LB would have worked just fine. We could have done that too. That's no problem. I just wanted to show that her jump can do it too. That's fun. And again, I have the dream team. This is easy, right? I don't have to worry about, you know, not building up morale, or, you know, Ling has all the stuff, the status element resists, and all the, everybody has the skills that are good for this fight. So it's really easy for me to do with these units. I am going to be trying it with other units, but I just wanted to show how that works. All right, so that's the fight. So just a couple of reminders. You need to have that wind and dark resist at 200%, the 2 of them combined, at 200% for all of your units. Your passive provoker needs also, I think it was 150 fire and earth resist, and they also have to have that 100% passive provoke. And then, if you're not doing a 1-turn kill, you have to wait until turn 5 until the boss's defense and spirit buffs wear off, and then you're going to have a way easier time 1-turn killing them on that turn instead. Make sure that you're not attacking with the elements that the boss is weak to accidentally, because that can cause them to do another dispel. If they do another dispel, their attacks are going to do a lot of damage to you, and also all of your imperils will be gone, all of your buffs will be gone, your amps, anything that you've done to set up for that 1-turn kill will then be gone, and you'll probably be dead because all of your resistances will be gone as well, and you'll be taking a lot of damage. So be very careful with what you're doing. Make sure you check every turn to see if you have been dispelled, if you've made a mistake. Otherwise, it's very hard to figure out what went wrong. So that's going to be it. Hope this was useful to you all. Thank you so much to Sinzar for his strategy. Again, take no credit for it, but I just wanted to give my perspective on my clear on it, and hopefully that helps new players that are trying to figure out the fight, or any player that's trying to figure out the fight. If you want to talk more FFBE, then join us on the Discord in the FFBE channel, and I'm happy to talk to you about that. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next FFBE video.